The Spurs signed Keldon Johnson to a 4-year, $80 million extension. And I have to say, as a Spurs fan, I really like this deal for a few reasons. I think this is a good deal. The first reason is for the value Keldon could possibly get on the open market. If he was a free agent today, I believe he could actually get even higher than that, just based on his numbers from this season. He averaged 17 points, around 46% overall field goal percentage, but shot 39% from three, which was a huge improvement when it came to his three-point shooting this year. So he excelled in those departments right there, and I think he became more efficient this year. So he was overall pretty good. Obviously, my benchmark for efficiency is around 50%. That's like the best you can get. If you go beyond that, you're amazing. So he's above 45, which is pretty good for a young player. I think he can get better. So I think it was a good value deal because if you put him on the open market, he could get probably 4 years, 100 million, 110 million. He could get somewhere in that range if he was a free agent today, which leads me to believe Clutch Sports probably didn't want to take a risk in some regards because he had a breakout year this year, but it was not guaranteed that he would put up the same numbers next year. I think that was their mindset because now Keldon will be the number one option since DeJounte Murray's no longer in the Spurs. His numbers could potentially go down, his percentages could go down, possibly his scoring. And I think they didn't want to risk that because they knew if his numbers went down, then his value could drop to maybe 50 to 60 million dollars in the market, in the summer of 2023. So I think this was a hedge for them where they accepted the $80 million number as a fair compromise. I think it was a win-win for both sides. But I do think Keldon will live up to this contract. He might actually outperform it. If he's a 20-point scorer next year, which I think there's a high chance of him reaching that mark now since he'll get all the touches being the number one guy on the offensive end. I think he will outperform this contract. And even going long term, it gives the Spurs a valuable asset in keeping Keldon because if they decide that they don't want to keep him long term as a number one option, they can just trade him and they can get some solid picks for him or some other solid players. So that makes him a valuable asset. I think that's good in that regard too. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I like about this deal, but I think overall it's a great deal. The only thing I wish the Spurs would do different with Keldon now is stop playing him at the power forward position because defensively he's a liability at the spot. Then again, I don't think it matters now since the Spurs are tanking. Overall, though, I like this move. This was a great move. Just I see this as a win-win for both sides, him, Clutch, the Spurs, and even the future, regardless of how he performs. It's just again, like I said, it makes him a valuable asset for the Spurs. That's how I view this signing, and tell me what you think. Thank you for listening.